there. My name is Amora, and I'm going to talk to you about sex today. I don't believe that AI should be taking over the arts, and I don't believe that sex toys should be replacing real-life penises. I'm on your side, guys. What are my qualifications, you might ask? Why should I have an opinion about anything? So my background is that of psychology. I have been a psychotherapist and supervising clinician for about 13 years, give or take. And I've been in private practice for just over 7 now. And I am ready to spill. What I've noticed about human beings is their incredible proclivities towards contradiction and effing themselves over. When it comes to being vulnerable, taking risks, and pursuing love seriously, human beings are notorious sabotaging themselves and others. And then they come to you-know-who. Guess who they like to come to try and work these things through? With an objective third-party person who they believe has more insight and ability to navigate these interpersonal challenges than themselves. That's right. It's me, your shrink. I would just like to tell you that I know virgins who have written oodles and oodles and oodles of porn online, and they've never recreated their porn. Now, if there is something I quite enjoy, it's listening to audio porn, aka erotica, aka narrated fan fiction. I just want to share in the joy of letting you know how I know that you aren't having enough sex. I have a lot of clients come to me expressing some concern and some frustration around their difficulties engaging with themselves fully during sex. Sometimes it's in recovering from an infidelity. I was treating a woman who unfortunately had been married to a man who was just super addicted to cocaine, and he was going all around their community just effing anybody with a pulse. You know, she tried to stop him. She tried to reason with him, but of course, he didn't give a crap. She was somewhat financially dependent upon him until we started to work together and, recognized that she was earning her own income and she could utilize different grants and incentives and different kind of programs in her area to become more financially literate and really create a foundation where she didn't have to remain with a guy who, she wasn't interested in an open relationship and an open marriage. She just wanted monogamy. She had a background of childhood sexual abuse and being chronically betrayed by her caregivers and intimate partners. So it really wasn't a workable situation at all. And what happened was when she did eventually leave him, which I was very, supportive of and very, very proud, of course, as the shrink that assisted her to come into her own and realize her self-worth in this way, she identified her challenge was, I can't orgasm on my own. I don't know how to make myself orgasm, which to me as a professional person, I think, wow, how powerless must that feel at a core level? And how strange that some person outside of yourself can stimulate you better than yourself, which of course, a lot of heteronormative men would be like, oh, of course I'm the best. Look at my huge ability to please a woman who can't please herself. That's why you people need us. You'll never be truly free because you're addicted to dick. I am not a fan of those men. So my first course of action was to recommend that this woman begin to learn about her body, and I recommended a couple of somewhat empirically based resources around women's sexual pleasure. So one of them is OMG Yes, and the other one was get a machine, invest in a decent vibrator with a bunch of different settings. And I think it's a really important self-service and like self-honoring ritual that you need to do. And it is not anything biological most of the time. I would say 95% of the time, it's a sociological impairment that women experience due to misogyny and patriarchy, damning our genitals if they don't conform to pornographic standards. And this became very evident to me when I was dating in my early to mid 20s. And a lot of the men I slept with didn't matter where they came from, what background, what ethnicity, whatever, they would compliment my anatomy. When you compliment my anatomy and tell me that this part of me looks better than other women's, I would ask them, why do you think that that makes me feel good? You're putting other women down. Wow, it's just like porn. Like, porn is an illusion, right? Porn isn't real, but they were really dumb. So to have more access and knowledge in how to make you orgasm than yourself, it truly is outsourcing a lot of your energy autonomy, your ability to manifest and create things. Like a woman's orgasm is her creative tool for manifestation and really embodying her dreams. Like it's fun. I, of course, 100% always appreciate a man and his penis rather than a sex toy. My preference is always having sex with an actual man because it's a lot more interactive. It's not a machine. I don't believe that AI should be taking over the arts, and I don't believe that sex toys should be replacing real life penises. I'm on your side, guys. However, it's your fault, guys, that women do not know their bodies because of how stupid and arrogant you are believing the penises are the only fun things to play with. I heard some idiot make a joke a long time ago about if he had been born a girl, he would have had nothing to play with. Do you know how awful it is to just be omitted from the lexicon of pleasure? You have no comprehension. You're just a dumb boy. And any older man who actually understands what it is to have sex can attest to it. Personally, I believe that these older enlightened men should be holding ceremonial education workshops in a group setting like the wise old sage, helping out his denizens, his followers, his disciples navigate and unbreak the chains that the patriarchy has in roped around your neck to make you pieces of shit in the sack. Women, you are amazingly attractive to a good man, no matter what it is. And a good man, if you are heteronormative or attracted to men, will be able to rise to the challenge. Ah ha ha ha, a ho ho ho, the pun. You don't have to accept bullshit in order to feel as though you're good enough, you're deserving of an orgasm. No, just flip the script entirely. You've always been deserving of an orgasm. You don't need to outsource that responsibility and that gift to a man. He's not going to be able to understand it. Even if he masters the technicalities of like playing a guitar string over and over and over and over with a couple of his fingers at a time, he's not going to understand how to enhance the orgasm so that it's like you're playing a symphony instead of just one French horn. The only person who's going to really get what you need and be able to replicate it reliably, unconditionally, no matter what happens to your relationship with them, is you. If you're a lesbian woman, if you're a bisexual woman, you know how incredibly powerful it is to engage holistically and relaxedly with your sexual needs and how your body responds as a woman. When women have sex with other women, our ability to simply let go and relax is heightened because the male prioritization of ejaculation to end the sex session is completely removed. It doesn't matter how long it takes, it's the pleasure of the entire act. And sometimes men get caught up in their own heads and they think, "Oh, well, if I didn't make her come within a certain time frame, then oh dear, I failed," or "Oh dear, we should end the sex time." That's horrible. It just illustrates to any woman you're with that she can't trust you to get through anything but what you enjoy. And what a selfish, little self-centered. The last thing I'd like to talk about today is my practice has changed rather suddenly and without any conscious intention on my part. My practice has become about, I'd say, 75% male clients and 25% female clients. This is fairly unusual. Different, people, regardless of their gender, they struggle with sex in different ways. And something that I think doesn't get discussed enough is when boys are quite young, and this is the research of Bowlby and Anna Freud and a lot of the early attachment researchers in psych, and they keep on validating it. People like Gordon Neufeld and Virginia Satir to a certain degree with her family therapy studies. We know that little boys, when measured within a very stringent clinical trial-esque environment and longitudinally over, say, 10 years, they typically have higher emotional lability as well as vulnerability, which is just a clinical term for sensitivity, than their girl counterparts. So what I see when a man is ready for counseling with me is an acute and highly crisis-driven need for that kind of love and unconditional respect and support because they don't trust themselves a lot of the time. They don't trust themselves because they didn't get the nurturance that they needed to move through, the emotional challenges of having an authentic relationship where sex is involved. Sex is a normative part of that healthy bonding ritual. And so what they tend to do is seek out the temporary validation and attention from external acquaintanceships, which may or may not lead to one-night stands or casual sex and flings, while their primary, say more committed long-term common law / marriage woman partner is kind of left out to the wind. I am a trauma therapist. I deal with, I would describe it as being a big game hunter versus a hunter that, shoots rabbits or foxes or coyotes. I don't like killing animals. I'm just using this metaphor because I live in a place where hunting and trapping was super commonplace. So I don't really treat a lot of the little things anymore. I pretty much go for the moose, the bear, the bison. That's what I take on because many reasons, which I'll get into later. So I have this one male client, and he's trying to address this addiction he has to essentially inflicting pain on himself, his partner, uses substances to excess, was raised in an alcoholic household where there was lots of emotional abuse and neglect. He's now divorced, the mother of his children. He's trying to raise these children pretty much on his own, can't co-parent at all with him, yet he misses the idea, the limerance, which is a fascinating and very well described form of imaginary love with his ex-wife. He's with a new woman, and this woman seems to be better. However, there's lots of verbal abuse. There's lots of psychological violence. So my job then becomes, okay, I've got to support you learn how to actually prioritize yourself, not turn to temporary illusions to derive a temporary sense of, I'm an attractive man outside my role of father or worker or stable boyfriend. Sometimes